Hello, good people! Welcome to our show! Hello, bad people! Welcome to our show! Hello, welcome! Today we are going to discuss a lot about global SEO, how to optimize your website to get traffic everywhere. And I love this topic. I pay so much attention to get traffic on all countries and in many languages. That was tough before, but today we can get traffic from Japan, from Turkish, from Arabic countries, and yeah, it works well. So I want to learn more because I'm a student on this life. I need to get more knowledge, more skills, how to get much better results. I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Björn Darko. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and thanks for the great intro.
A big pleasure.
Uh,
A big pleasure.
you're just using pictures for me. I don't look like this anymore.
uh, I wanna confess, it's not me, it's my team. I don't know how they can find all these pictures. I have no idea about that. I just tell them, look at, I have this guest. Please create promo video shot. But it's important, to don't film long videos in the beginning because people are coming to get value, to learn something new. But actually, it works if you can tell more about your speaker and to show this video. So for me, it works. Björn, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about global SEO.
Yeah, so my name is Björn Darko. I've been on this podcast already. We spoke about SEO strategy, if I'm not mistaken, like back then. I think it's a year ago or so.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm director product SEO at Aviv Group. Aviv is a company that owns most of the biggest real estate platforms in Europe, or especially in France, with C'est Loger, Meilleur Agent, Logic-Immo, and in Germany, Immowelt, Immonet, and in Belgium, Immoweb. And also in Israel, we own Schatzstein. And so my role there is essentially to, for now, building a white label solution for 6 different brands that we have in 6 different countries, building one platform out of this, and of course, from my perspective, with all SEO components that are there. But as soon as we are on that white label, to make sure that we can really, really skyrocket the performance of this particular platform for each and every country, right? And I think that's a really great advantage of being on the white label, because you just have one platform and then local specifics. So everything that you do, you don't need to do it 6 times or 7 times. You just do it once, and then all the countries and all the traffics get the same fortunate, functions and features.
Yeah, nice, nice. I want to ask about optimizing website for a few countries or many countries, and I don't have one question how to do it right. Sometimes it's good to have one domain. Sometimes it's better to take a few domains and consider different countries. And I think even Google can't tell which way is better. But I think Google can recognize your domain name to see if you have, like, let's imagine Canada, CA in your domain name, if it's Brazil, BR. So when we have such uh, abbreviation after DOP, yeah, it's better to do it, but not always. For example, Apple doesn't have it. Probably Apple doesn't need to have it because it's Apple. Facebook doesn't optimize uh, website for different countries because everyone can use just facebook.com. So can you tell how to figure out when we need it, when it's not a good idea?
Well, even though Apple doesn't do it, like I think most of the American companies have .com, right? And
Yeah,
.com doesn't stay for US or USA; it stays for commercial, right? So I
yeah,
think they so like, I mean, even though it's like a a global abbreviation of the domain. It's very much focused on US players, where I do believe, especially in Europe, we are a jungle of different countries, and so it just makes sense, right? That especially if you offer your service only in that particular country, to also make sure to have like .fr or .de for Germany or for France, for example, because it also builds trust for the user, right?
Mhm.
That they know, okay, it is actually a service, it is a company, it is a domain from the country I'm living in, especially when it comes to ordering stuff and delivery, and also content delivery from us to the customer. I think it's super important that they understand that there are mother tongue natural language speakers behind it, and it's a company that sits in that particular country, so that you don't have problems with logistics or with payments, especially. So all the security factors, I think, play a psychological role in that domain from a user perspective. And then, of course, from a Google, from a crawler perspective, same here, right? I do believe that without having any proof of it, but I do believe that also for Google, especially if you have, if I would now come with an online shop that, for example, just works in Germany, but I would have a Russian or like a Bulgarian or a Scandinavian domain ending, that would be very trustworthy, right? So and that's why I do think that fits to the overall picture of the company, to the overall picture of the service, and so it's just secure and delivers also security to the user.
Yeah, nice. Björn, I wanna ask about writing in one language for different countries. Let's take English. US. I'm not sure that it's a good idea to write for Canadian people or Americans. It's the same. But what about British and Australian? I think they have some difference, and I usually don't do it. I don't like this idea even to create different text, because you can create duplicate content. Google doesn't understand. If you have different domains, probably we can do it. What do you think when we can write in different styles, and when it's not good idea?
Again, like so I do have experience with this because I lived 5 years in Switzerland as a German speaker, right? You have Swiss German, and even though we think, okay, it's the same language, it's not, right? So and there are a lot of nuances within the language that you immediately can detect, okay, this is written by a German or written by a Swiss person, right? Because there are specific words that are different, nuances in words that are different, and also the things like that you describe sometimes are different, right? Even though it's the same language, so they just use different words for the same thing, actually, right? And so from that perspective, I do believe that it is really important that you have mother tongue content writers, for example, that create content in that sense for a Swiss or for a Canadian or for an Australian or for a German user, because again, like it's trust. B, you feel different. I think it has also an impact to the conversion. If you feel, okay, they speak in my language, they use the same words than I do, and also have the exact view as a native on specific things. Then if I would write something about US, I don't know, about the cinema culture in the US, yes, I can do some keyword research and I can do some research here and there, but at the end of the day, I don't have the feeling for it, right? I don't have the experience. I don't have any emotions with it. And so the way how I would describe it would be very, very different than an American citizen would do it. So, and that's why I do think like this, also now we talk about AI, and yes, of course, AI can create one piece of content and not even translate it, but generate it in 27, 28 different languages. But you will always have this emotional connection to a piece of content, or to describing a service, or to describing a specific thing. This emotional connection is completely lost with AI, of course, even though factual might be correct what they're writing. But I can imagine, and you see that also from content that you read. It's hard to detect whether it was a man or a machine, or a woman or a machine, but this emotional thing that you can connect with a piece of content, that's completely missing. And I do believe that is, at the end of the day, when all content is written from one machine, for example, that this emotional nuance will make the difference at all. So yes, for me, it's super important that you have mother tongue language and native speakers sitting on content that you create for a specific country.
No, nice. I, I I didn't know about Switzerland. I know that on this country people have no one language. They speak in different languages, including German. So they can mix German language. It's not their
They,
language.
they essentially they have four different languages, right? They have
Yeah.
Italian, they have French, they have German, and then there's Romansh, which is a very small population, I
Uh-huh.
think, in the eastern part of Switzerland who speaks that. So it's a complex topic there. Yes.
Yeah, got it. So you know, you unhided a few of my secrets about using AI to convert text to some formats because I use a lot. And for example, before ChatGPT, um, we had translators who can do it, but that was tough. That was really tough to do it. Uh, the main reason was you can't check the quality if you don't speak another language. Like I don't speak Japanese, I don't speak Arabic, and I have no idea how to check the quality. I need to trust someone
Yes.
who can do it. Of course I can check portfolio, I can check rating, but I need to trust. And I know when people have no good mood can translate something not good even with a great portfolio experience, but when ChatGPT appealed, today we use this tool a lot, and it's not only for translation. Even for example, if I need to rewrite text in British style or Australian style, I can ask on ChatGPT to do it, and this tool can convert. And we tested and got great results. It works, especially it works for languages when it's not competitive like English. For example, if we translate to let's imagine Italian, Arabic, and we got a lot of traffic from Turkish language, Chinese, and yeah, we just ask ChatGPT, and it works well, even better than we pay for translators. So, what do you think? How to do it right? I mean, like you mentioned about AI, I can use. I think it's tough to ignore this tool today, but I found it's better to use it smart. It's not like just set up generic prompts to ask, please do this job, and you can get great results. Any tips how to do it right?
Yeah, I'm so I there are a lot of different viewpoints on this, right? I do
Mhm.
believe if you have like a very technical topic, let's say you're an online shop and you want to describe whatever, like an amplifier or like an Wi-Fi box or so. That's very technical, right? So there's a lot of structured data, how high, what are the sound nuances, BP, like whatever technical attributes are attached to this piece of product. And that's super easy. And why not using a machine that generates content out of it, and it's far better than a human would do it. Like if you remember back in the days when you are an online shop and you order you have ordered content at those content broker agencies and stuff like that, right? Where they employ, and I don't mean it disrespectful, right? But they employ everybody that sits at home and has nothing else to do, but then they write content and they get, like, I don't know, 10 euros or so for it, right? So they're not an expert on that field, and they just write. They get like a list of, okay, use this keyword and use it 15 times, and that's what they do. And I mean, if you read the text, I mean, they're like embarrassing, right? They're
Yeah,
not really good, and I think a machine can do that way better. And if you have a specific prompt where you tell, okay, you need to inform the user about XYZ, please focus on that particular attribute because that's the most, and so on and so forth. The text is way better and very much focused on the user itself. And using this and scale it on your platform, because you have thousands of those products, just makes sense, right? It's good for the user, and it's also better to use it this way than you to do it manually. Of course, like it's you save resources, you save money for sure. So it's a win-win situation. Now,
yeah.
But if you have like an insurance, for example, you have a financial product, you have like a news product or something like that. I do believe that you can use AI as as a tool to research specific data and research specific things that you can relate to later. But I do think that you should, like, again, like back to the emotional connection, right? If you write a text about a specific life insurance, that's a very, very emotional topic, right? It's a very serious topic, and people not just decide, okay, I take this insurance. It's a longer process until they come to a decision. So you have to come with this emotional angle. And yes, using ChatGPT, using AI to do research, but as a tool, having a template, a structure beforehand. What do I need to think about? What are the questions of users? What is it? What, in the last 10 years were the most frequent asked questions or insurance, stuff like that, right? And then you can combine that with your emotional experience about life, about insurances, and write a great text. I think that is better conversion related than if a machine would do it, which is just cold and, not really emotional detached.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's better to check anything that you do with AI, just to check manually, and we do it. And for example, I see when SEO specialists can tell that uh, Google hates AI content. I'm not sure about that. I think Google loves AI content if you can create high quality content. And I really don't care about this AI detectors and other tools. If I see the quality and much better content than we have in the top 10, why I need to worry about that? And we got great results with AI content. But if you know how to create high quality content, it works well. Uh,
Yes.
we use it for programmatic pages. We use for different content. Of course, we check this content. We cooperate with great experts who can write for Forbes, Investor Pay, the big websites. And yeah, we check this content, but we can save our time as well, to create this content, generate content. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the more structured or the more data you have, the more you need to leverage that data and generate content out of it, be it like, reports, be it white papers, be it like case studies, whatever you have. If you have a lot of data, why not using it? It's very cost reductive, and it's automatic, and you save a lot of resources, but add value to the readers and or listeners. So yeah, for
Yeah.
those use cases, AI is perfect.
Yeah. Björn, I want to ask about this quote behind you. SEO Presso podcast. I want to ask about this podcast with one reason. I have no time to listen 80% of all podcasts. I love this format. I love it. I can listen to podcasts when I'm driving, walking with my dogs, many things, exercising. I love to listen podcast to learn something new, but I'm so picky to choose the right podcast. So
Mm.
I want to ask you, give me and to my audience a solid reason to listen this podcast, why you are better than others, and what kind of value we can get by listening to this podcast.
First of all, like, the listeners need to be German, because I think 90% of my
Ah,
episodes are in German. But I do, as from time to time, I also have like English guests, and then it's of course also in English, but the majority is of German. But
okay.
if you are able to speak or understand German, or you live in Germany, whatever, then I mean, it's similar to your podcast, right? So I'm speaking to a lot of different people, persons within the SEO and digital industry that you would never see or hear on a conference, for example. But still, they do really good quality work at their work, and have great case studies. They have a great mindset. They're just too shy to be publicly in space. So, and I have them on a podcast, and we talk about cool things. And I had my podcast twofold, right? So one is very like professional, like where we really speak about a specific case, like global SEO, for example. And then I have another stream which is more personally, where I like all those people that you know from conferences, from blog posts, from podcasts. You just know them professionally, right? what is behind that person, like how did they develop themselves, so like what's the reason why they are why they are like they are today. And so there's a lot of education and trouble in childhoods, and people that just tried something out and then experience a personal and professional growth and so on and so forth. So it's that is also very, very interesting. And so this is what you can expect from the podcast, as your Presso podcast.
Okay, guys. So if you speak German, you need to listen. You need to jump to this format, And Björn, yeah, let's talk about finding the right people. We spoke with you about product management in our first episode, and today I'm interested to find or hire or outsource great people to your team. And I remember when I started my SEO journey in 2008, I hired a team of writers who wrote about
Yeah.
anything, about all topics, anything: weight loss, finance, accounting, real estate, anything. Google ranked well. That worked well. But things change a lot. It's not even about Google updates. I think because of competition. Of course, Google is much smarter today. Google can recognize user intent, can recognize quality and choose the best content in the top 10. Many other factors. Sometimes it's not the best, but because of authority, branding, many things. But anyway, today it's a big challenge to find right people who can create content, and we pay so much attention to that, because it's not like go to ChatGPT to ask, please generate me this content to get results. No, you need to find people who can create this great content. And if we speak about creating global content for specific countries, can you tell how you decide this challenge? For example, if you need to promote website to a new country and you have no experience on this country, but you need to get results, because I often get these questions from my customers. We need to find a way how to get Latinos countries, how to come to Australia, because we have a lot of great customers there. So let us know how to do it right.
Wow, there's a lot of things in that question. So, if you're going into a new country where you haven't been before, right?
Yeah.
I think it's wise to use freelancers from the country, or even an agency that knows those countries, that knows SEO, that knows what content needs in terms of structure, in terms of research, in terms of format, to build your reputation in that particular country. And as you also know, especially building links to that content is even more important if you come to a new country, because also from Google's perspective, your domain in that country is completely new, right? So
Yeah.
you're new in the field, so you have to build up that reputation, and so you have to be really, really great in building content and content marketing campaigns so that people are willing to link to you, right? So it's a bit more complex, and the challenge is much, much bigger than just creating content and placing it. Now, of course, you can if you're an e-commerce shop, for example, right? We saw that from a lot of examples in Switzerland or Germany, Alibaba, right? We know that a company from China and Asian markets, but they came to the German country with completely translated content, right? They didn't even put effort into creating their own content. They just translated, and they translated it so bad sometimes that you saw that it's translated, and still they were ranking, right? So because they scaled the hell out of it, and that happens the same with other e-commerce shops. I'm just not sure if that is sustainable, right? So you might have like a big push because you're a big brand and a big player. You might have a big push in the beginning, but then you have a lot of local players that do a much, much better job when it comes to content and putting really value for the user on the platform, but also in blogs and magazines around EAT and so. And at the end of the day, those niche portals will then out rank those big portals that just come with translation. So, like, back to your question, like really, really working together with a local agency or local freelancers there that can help you build up that reputation on the platform, but also around your platform and blogs and magazines and stuff. I think that's important. So, and once you have let's say 10-20% built up, then you can start hiring people and that in that country, because you already drive some revenue, and take that revenue, reinvest it in resources that you hire permanent as an FTE. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, valuable. But I want to ask more about link building, about building this authority. For me, it's a big struggle to do it with English-speaking content, to find great link builders or agencies. And I know it costs a lot if you speak about quality, who can provide right outreach campaigns. That is why we usually use PR. For example, it's interesting about PR because agencies adopted PR to link building strategies, and we did it as well. I remember when I paid for $6,000 for one press release to write and pitch. $6,000, but
Wow.
we needed to write 12 press releases a week. 12. It's a
Wow.
lot of, and what I did it. I wrote a bunch of press releases. I pitched all of them. I got 0 mentions, 0 results, nothing. But I learned how it works. Then I learned about tools. And for me, it's okay if you fail. If you fail, you can learn, you can think how to adapt, how to go ahead. And then we hired writers who can write for Forbes, Investopedia, Bloomberg, big websites. We taught them how to write press releases. We explained we need to write about trending topics to bring something new, valuable that journalists are looking for, to share your opinion, to submit bullet points. And today we got mentions on CNN, on investing.com, CoinDesk, Business Insider, a lot of big websites. We got great results, even better than PR agency can provide, because I compared PR agency. They usually, interesting about PR, they usually hire journalists who don't know the topic. So basically, journalists can write about trendy topic, but he's not specialist about that, or her. But we
that's
Yeah.
A, and B. That's actually a very valid point, right? And B, if you work with those agencies, they always have their link network, so they always use the same
Yeah.
sites that they request for links that they use for with another client, right? So you've been circulating in that link network as well, and at the end of the day, if you pay that much money for a link, right, it should be a link that provably also delivers traffic to your site. Because we always do link building where we say, okay, I have now collected 15 domain authority links, right, and you just count the quantity, but actually it's wrong, right? Because what should a link do? A link should bring you referral traffic. So looking at links that really bring you traffic also means that you place the link on a site that has a lot of traffic, so a lot of authority, and the more traffic comes through the link on your page, most probably higher the authority of the link source is, right? So looking at that KPI when you do link building, then most probably the $6,000 is worth the money, because you got, I don't know, 100,000 visits out of it, and out of this 100,000 visits, you generated, let's say, 1,000 conversions or so, and made revenue, right? And that's I think what you should look at the link at the end of the day, not the quantity of the links, but what did it bring in terms of value.
Yeah. According to PR, if your agency can provide the same links all the time, I can explain how it works. They use tools, and we have two methods: contribution and distribution. Contribution, when tools can add your link to specific websites, even big websites. Distribution, when editors on websites can decide if your content is link worthy or great content, they can add your content to the websites. So distribution costs a lot, because you need to create really high quality content to give a solid reason to journalists to submit your content. Contribution costs like $50, and it's not a lot, because tools can add these backlinks. I have no idea how it works, but I remember when Jen Mueller said about that some agency can cheat with that, and Google can recognize this intent. So, but if you use distribution, it means you need to create really high quality content. CNN will never accept some nonsense. Bloomberg, Forbes will ignore such content. You need to create really content that will help their audience. Then journalists will submit this content. And so it's better to learn about distribution, to think about that. And it's possible to create PR campaigns yourself. So basically what we did, we hired specialists. We even didn't, we didn't hire them because we cooperated with them to write another content. We just explain them. We need to write press releases, and most of them can write these press releases. It's not tough format. Then we use well-known tools like Prowly, Cision, to distribute this content to right journalists, and we got great results with that. So to save a lot of money, I mean, like for we write today 12 press releases a week. It's more than $3,700,000, if you hire PR agency. No, good money, to save. So anyway, Björn, I want to ask about link building in specific countries. For me, it's a big challenge to check even English agencies, because in the link building, many agencies can tell, I use white hat SEO, even well-known agencies with high rating, and they can call it like skyscraper technique, other techniques, and tell, it's only quality. You don't need to worry about that. You will get great results. But I think if you have experience, you can recognize if skyscraper or other links or submissions or paid links, you can feel it. But how to do it in other languages? Any tips about that?
What do you mean with skyscrapers?
Skyscraper technique, it's strategy from Brian Dean. When you find content that have some positions and obsolete content, and you can ask website owner to replace the links on these specific pages to your backlink. For example, let's imagine content can I don't know, any URL online can link to weight loss supplements, but this link is obsolete, don't bring a lot of value, and you can tell, look, I have much better content about weight loss supplements, and if a master will decide to replace your link, it's strategic skyscraper technique.
That's the first time I hear about it, but essentially it's like you can also like ask for replacing an competitor link with just your link because it's not working anymore.
In most cases it works. Works when you I mean, like, it's not for e-commerce pages, because I brought a bad example. If you ask about changing weight loss supplements, it's more about e-commerce link. But if you ask about info content, for example, let's imagine some blogs wrote a bunch of articles and link to different websites, but they often link to obsolete content. During some time this content is obsolete, but when you have much better content, info content, you can reach out to website owners and tell, look, I have much better content. Just check it, much better than your link, and this content will bring more value to your users. And you can replace even competitors with your backlink.
I actually love it. Like the approach is super nice, and it is similar to the approach that we in SEO should do is like reviewing our own content every now and then to see if we can update it, delete it, merge it, or even enrich it, right? Because this publish and forget, right? We create a piece of content, we put it on a website, and then we never touch it again. But there might be, news about a specific product or a specific service that, of course, needs to be enriched. The content needs to be enriched with, or maybe a table, or maybe a specific picture or so should be added, because it adds more value to the explanation of that content per se, right? And this approach is similar to what you just explained. Or you can even put that approach to this content approach and say, okay, let's also review all the links that we have, the backlink profile, and let's look at specific links that are most probably outdated, where we can provide new or enriched or another piece of content in order to drive again more value through the link. So essentially it's also the same, right? You're exchanging content or you're improving content on the link source side by constantly reviewing and updating it. So I do think that it is definitely a valid approach.
Yeah. And do you have some tips how to find good link builders who can help with creating authority in specific countries, especially for non-English content?
I don't know any link builders. I constantly reject and don't look at the messages that I got for LinkedIn, because there are hundreds of link builders and guest post offers, right?
Millions,
So
millions.
I don't care, right? I don't care. The way how I look at link building is essentially really through valuable content. So I'm in a fortunate state that, I work for a company where we have like editorial teams and PR teams. I'm in a fortunate state that I work in a company where we have a lot of data that is related to the housing market and to buying apartments, renting, selling apartments, right? So we know exactly in which area what kind of employment rate there is, like how many kindergartens, how many schools, what is the development of the average pricing, the average interest rates and stuff. So around this, we can create a lot of, trend barometer, a lot of PR pieces that we can seed. And again, I'm in a fortunate state working in a company which is really related to society, right? So society is interested in the data that we provide. And if we can put some nice words around it and make it meaningful and useful, then we just need to knock at the door of any publisher in the countries we work with, and they, with hand kiss, they take our content and like to link, right? And that's, of course it's fortunate, but that's the way how you should look at link building, right? Rather than working with a creepy person that promised you to place 80 links on domain authority websites, invest the time and the money in your content and look at the data that you have available, which might be adding value to the society or to your customer group. You don't need to start with the society, but just start with your customer group and then build formats out of it that you can seed in the environment that you, in the market that you work with. And I think that's a way better and way more sustainable approach than the other one.
Yeah, awesome. Björn, I asked this question on the previous episode, but I want to ask one more time. It's important for my audience who want to learn SEO basics from scratch in many different reasons. The main reason probably to cooperate with great experts to understand how it works, then to hire right people. And the second reason I see when people want to jump on this field and not sure if it's a good idea today, because I don't know how the future will be, but today we can see that chatbots can take some part of SEO. 12% of users use chatbots, including me, more than Google, because I love to save my time. For example, when I decided to search about Tesla on Google, so I asked a simple question: can I use self-drivers feature on Florida? And I couldn't find answer on Google. A simple answer on Google. So I spent some time to research content, probably great content about Tesla, electric cars, why we need to save the world, how you can save money for gas, but I don't need it. I needed the answer to simple question. Can I use the self-drivers feature in Florida, autopilot? And ChatGPT gave me answer for a few seconds. I understand why 12% of people switch attention to chatbots, and this number is growing. So I'm not sure about the future. Let us know your thoughts about the future and how we can adapt to this possible future.
That is a very good question, and it's a multi-million-dollar question that everyone asks currently, right? I'm the same as you, right? I use ChatGPT on a daily basis. I use it for use cases where I let them improve my English, improve specific writings that I do. I let create templates. I do calculations. I let analyze data. Also let them write a LinkedIn post for my podcast and stuff like that, right? So I really use it on a daily basis as an assistant, right? For me, it's an assistant. And sometimes I also use it as building something for me. For example, I have I have a dumbbell and I have a kettlebell and I have a treadmill here. And I asked ChatGPT, okay, I want to lose 20 kilograms in weight. I have this equipment. Please create a plan for me that I need to do on a daily basis in order to lose 20 kilograms over a time period of 3 months. So boom, you get it, right? If you go to Google, you can watch a lot of videos, you can read a lot of articles, but you have to do it by yourself at the end of the day. And here, boom, you had it within under 1 minute. You get a dedicated plan. This is your exercise routine that you need to do in the next 3 months. And I think this is something that will definitely change, where you can instantly get an answer from the chatbot that is correct and is very sophisticated, and it gives you everything that you need. Instead of going to Google, you get you get a piece in an answer box, but then you still need to do your research and read this and read that and blah blah blah. So the time piece here is the key thing. If chatbots are being able to be faster and more accurate and saving you a lot of time, then I do think that a lot of searches, especially informational based searches, will move over to chatbots like ChatGPT instead of Google. And that's why I think there's such a chaos currently, or not chaos. Yeah, there's such a chaos currently with Sam Altman leaving the board, or was fired and coming back, right? And Google being very sloppy about the presentation, and like you can really feel the tension in this whole race. And I think that's the reason, because it's all about the user at the end of the day. If Google loses user base that moves over to ChatGPT, they lose their advertising revenue, they lose a lot of data that they currently use to build their products, and so on and so forth. So it's a real fight. And for us, from a user perspective, I don't care if I use Google or if I use ChatGPT. At the end of the day, it should be useful and reduce a lot of time. And that's what ChatGPT is currently doing, and far ahead of Google.
Yeah. For me, I don't think that marketers will be in trouble, because whatever happens, we need to adapt. Just adapt. You can adapt to ChatGPT, you can adapt to Google search, you can adapt to any other channel. I think SEO can be dead. Why not? But customers will switch attention to other channels. It's not the first time when marketers adapted from newspaper, radio, adapted to digital. In digital, we need to adapt from search to TikTok to chatbots. So it's just game,
It's always like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a quickly changing world. We need to move fast, and I'm in the second stage. I can't create ChatGPT, I can't create Google, but I'm in the second stage to adapt faster than competitors. So yeah, just think how you can adapt much faster, better than your competitors. You will be fine. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And SEOs have ever changed, right? It always changed, right? The only difference now is the change is happening much, much faster. It changes almost on a weekly basis, whereas in the past it changed on a yearly basis, maybe on a monthly basis. Now it's almost on a weekly basis where you see new parameters shooting in, right? So it is very interesting. But again, like as you said, like if you don't learn now to use those tools as an assistant and as a time saver and as being more productive, in 1 year's time or so, you will be replaced by somebody that is.
Yeah, 100%. And according to data, 5% of marketers lost their jobs when ChatGPT appealed. 5%, it's a lot. And it's not because tools can replace them, because someone adapted to tools and can replace these people. Only about that, because I only got much better results when ChatGPT appealed. I grew my results because I can use this tool to improve to create high quality content, and it helps a lot to increase speed and quality. Björn, it's a big pleasure. Thanks again for
Likewise.
to speaking twice on my podcast. It's a big pleasure. Let us know how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
So follow me on LinkedIn. That's, I think, the most trustful source. If you speak German and you want to listen to my podcast, follow me on Spotify and iTunes and wherever you find good podcasts. And that is mostly it. And if you just ping me on LinkedIn, I will reply, and then we can keep in contact.
Nice, guys. You can find links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. I recommend to anyone to follow Björn on LinkedIn because I follow. I need more value. I'm student on this life. I need to get new skills. I know how it's important to update what you have, because if something works today, it doesn't mean that you will get results tomorrow. You need to update and move fast. Results will come. Okay, guys. Love you. See you.